Hey y'all, I'm Reverend Anetra Jones and welcome to my channel, Faithfully Becoming. Today, I am a pastor, I am a preacher, I am a life coach, but that's not where my story begins. I was once a convicted felon, a high school dropout. You name it, I've been there. But what I can tell you is I am proof that no matter what trauma you've been through, no matter what your story contains, that your story is not over. Welcome to Faithfully Becoming, where we do the work of healing our trauma and honoring our transformation. Faithfully Becoming is a sacred space. It is a sacred space for women in general and Black women in particular. So a pivotal part of my story begins at my sister's funeral. I stood at her funeral and I declared in front of everyone, I am going to serve God or I'm going to die trying. What I didn't know was that making that promise would catapult me into this journey, a journey that would pull me away from everything that I knew, everything that was comfortable and familiar to me. I lost friends. I lost family for a short period of time. But what I found was I found myself. I found my true identity. I found my purpose. And I found and cultivated a deep relationship with God. See, growing up, I grew up around drugs and violence and gang activity. That was the norm. Grew up around addiction. I grew up having a father that was incarcerated for the vast majority of my life. But what I have found is that the moment you make a decision that you want something different, that you want something better for your life, the moment you make a decision that you're going to be the one that's going to break the generational curses, I promise you that the entire world opens up for you. You have no idea what is waiting for you on the other side of your yes, on the other side of your I'll give it a try. On the other side of your, I'm willing to go forward even if I might fail. And so that's what this channel is about, Faithfully Becoming. Number one, it is a gift to my own self for my 44th birthday, which is tomorrow, to share my story, to share my gifts with a larger audience. Because the one thing I know is that there are many women who are just like me, who have a past that is imperfect, who have a family lineage, right, that has its fair share of trauma and drama. We are who we are, amen, and we love our family, we love who we come from. But because of the past, because of the things that we have encountered, the things that we have endured, the things that we have survived, come on somebody, because of the things that we have survived, we also have some trauma wounds. We have scars. Many of them are impacting the way that we navigate life right now. What I want to help you do is I want to help to expose some of those trauma wounds, because you can't fix what you're not willing to face, right? But you can't face what you don't know is there. And so trauma shows up in so many different forms. If you've ever found yourself people pleasing, you've ever found yourself saying yes when you really want to say no, you found yourself doubting yourself, right? Struggling with low self-esteem. Trauma shows up in so many different ways. And here at this channel, what I want to do is I want to share the way that it has impacted me, the way that it has affected me. I want to share how therapy has saved my life, how faith in God has catapulted me from a place of trauma to a place of transformation. And that's what this page is about. It's about transformation. It's about becoming. It's about evolving. It is about changing. It is about tapping into every gift that is on the inside of you and pursuing your wildest dreams. Your wildest dreams. I can say that my becoming journey, it really shifted when I dared to allow myself to dream. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine that? Dreaming, closing your eyes and thinking about not the worst case scenario, which is what trauma does to us, right? But closing your eyes and thinking about what is the best case scenario for my life? What is that degree? What is that? What's the business I want to open? What are the habits that I want to cultivate, right? Becoming. It's about transforming, evolving, stepping into the new, trusting God with your now and with your future. So here at Faithfully Becoming, you're going to find videos about healing emotional, spiritual, and childhood trauma, including some adult trauma as well. You're going to find videos about trusting God when it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, trusting God when you feel like giving up, trusting God when you feel like throwing in the towel. I know what it's like to be there, but I also know what happens when you don't give up. When you don't give up, sis, you win. Point blank, period. And so we're going to talk about discovering your purpose and walking in it unapologetically. And sometimes that means that you got to tell that voice that tells you you'll never be anything, that voice that wants to remind you of how you've messed up in the past and how you've given up. We got to learn how to tell that voice to hush. And listen, you could come along for the ride, but you don't get to say anything, right? Until we learn to really heal from the broken little girl that is within us. A lot of times we don't even realize that we have particular patterns that we think are just us. We think these patterns are a part of our identity, but these patterns are hindering our purpose. These patterns are hindering us from having healthy and whole and fruitful relationships, right? We've mistaken them as, well, this is just how I am. No, it's not. It's a trauma pattern. It's a wound. It is a scar that you can be free from. And that's what I want to help us do on this page. So check this out. I have so much content, but let me tell you a couple of things that we'll be discussing on this page. So some of the ways that trauma shows up, right, are it impacts us emotionally and mentally. Have you ever felt unworthy or invisible, unseen? Have you ever struggled with chronic fear and anxiety? Sometimes that is a trauma response. You struggle to trust others and or even trust God. For a while, I struggled to trust other people, but I am learning, right? Because I'm faithfully becoming the woman of my dreams. I am learning to trust people where it is safe to trust, right? Imposter syndrome. So many of us have struggled with imposter syndrome. We have all the credentials. We got all the degrees, the licenses. We have all of the knowledge. We are absolutely brilliant. And yet we struggle with feeling like we belong in rooms that God has put us in, right? God has opened doors wide open, and oftentimes we feel like we don't belong there, like we are an imposter. So we'll talk about that at some point. Relationships, settling for less. Have you ever looked back at somebody you dated and thought, girl, what was we thinking? What was I thinking? A lot of times, if you look back and you have a pattern of settling for people, not that they're necessarily beneath you, but they're just not a good match, right? A lot of times that is also a trauma wound. Let's see here. I'm not going to go through this whole list right now, but if you have struggled with being overexhausted because you always got to be the strong one, you literally feel responsible for everyone around you. Oftentimes that is also, it could be a trauma response because because I'm on this journey with you, we are struggling to be for so many other people what we wish we had for ourselves. And so if you've struggled with, if you have a history of abandonment or rejection, right? Oftentimes you don't want other people to feel that. And so you will literally deplete yourself trying to be there for everybody. And there is a way for us to support others without depleting ourselves, without sacrificing ourselves. And so let me see here. Yes, it's going to be good. It's going to be so good. Some things, right, that we need to overcome being the strong Black woman, right? Being the strong Black woman, the one that's there for everyone, the one that just gets the job done no matter the cost. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that because there is a cost, right? I remember going to a conference and hearing a woman say, if you are in a perpetual state of resilience, something is wrong with that. Like, it's okay to be resilient. I'm a very resilient woman, but guess what? There was a time where I wore resilient like a badge. I wore resilient like I wear this Fenty makeup, right? You should not be wearing resilience like that, because when you have to be resilient all of the darn time, you know what happens? You know what you get? You don't get no prize. No, you probably get a stroke, some high blood pressure, some anxiety, some depression meds. Those are the types of prizes that we get for being resilient all the time. God ain't calling us to be resilient all the time for everybody. And so these are just some of the habits, right, that we have to shed. Always being in hustle mode, needing validation all the time, affirmation all the time. Sis, if nobody else tells you not another day, baby, you are all that and a bag of chips with a soda or some water. Because you probably need water, like I do. Water on the side. So many things for us to talk about. I'm so excited about this page, about this channel. I'm going to hold myself accountable to work the works that God has given me to work, to do the things that God is calling me to do, to show up fully, to build community of women who are deciding that, guess what? The past and the trauma do not get the final say. I'm going to tap into these gifts and I'm going to be the woman that God is calling me to be. I'm going to be a woman that is whole and healthy and capable of having healthy, fruitful, mutually beneficial relationships. Come on, somebody, and say reciprocity. Reciprocity shall be our portion. Joy shall be our portion. Healing shall be our portion. Thriving and not surviving shall be our portion. So those are some of the things we'll be talking about here, Faithfully Becoming. I am so excited. This channel is a gift to myself, but it is also a promise to share my gift with the world, to share my story and my testimony, and bring as many women along with me to heal our trauma and honor our transformation. You deserve it. You are worth it. You are not what happened to you. You are not where you come from. You are a woman of God, full of purpose, full of passion. You are a woman that is faithfully becoming. I sure hope you join me for this ride. So I'm inviting you to walk with me, journey with me, heal with me, transform with me, level up with me, elevate with me, evolve with me. Come on, somebody. So subscribe to the page, turn on your notifications, tag your girlfriends, invite them, share this video with someone, and let's get ready to go, because it is time to faithfully become the woman of our dreams, to heal our trauma and honor our transformation. You are so worth it.